The deaf puppy dug in the garden for hours, and what the neighbor found was terrifying. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, where the sun bathes the streets in a warm glow and the laughter of children fills the air, an unsettling mystery began to unfold. Picture this: a charming little puppy, blissfully unaware of the world's dangers, digging furiously in the garden as if possessed by an unseen force. For hours, this deaf puppy tirelessly clawed at the earth, oblivious to the concerned glances from passers-by and the anxious whispers of nearby homeowners. Then, in a chilling twist, a neighbor approached, drawn by the puppy's relentless digging, only to stumble upon something that would send shivers down anyone's spine. What was it that lay buried beneath the surface? What dark secret had the innocent puppy unearthed? As the sun set, casting long shadows across the garden, the scene took on an air of eerie suspense. The puppy, filled with boundless energy and curiosity, continued its excavation, sending clumps of dirt flying in all directions. While most would assume the pup was simply engaged in a playful romp, those who watched closely could sense an underlying tension. Why this relentless pursuit of something hidden beneath the soil? Was it mere instinct, or was there something more sinister at play? In a world where even the most innocent beings can uncover the darkest secrets, this was a moment that would rip through the fabric of everyday life, dragging unsuspecting neighbors into a whirlwind of fear and intrigue. The initial excitement surrounding the puppy's antics quickly morphed into a sense of dread as onlookers began to speculate. What could possibly be buried in that garden? Was it an innocent treasure, or something that could unveil a chilling history? As the puppy dug deeper, the tension thickened like the approaching storm clouds overhead. Neighbors exchanged worried glances, their imaginations running wild with the possibilities of what lurked beneath the surface. The innocent facade of the garden began to crack, revealing layers of uncertainty and fear that no one could ignore. In a neighborhood where everyone knew each other, the bond of community was now overshadowed by the looming mystery. The puppy's owner, blissfully unaware of the growing anxiety surrounding their pet's strange behavior, continued with their daily routines, oblivious to the gathering storm. But the unraveling story was about to change everything. The puppy, with its innocent demeanor and relentless determination, had unwittingly become the center of a tale that would grip the entire neighborhood. As the hours dragged on and the puppy continued its excavation, a sense of urgency filled the air. The neighbor, whose curiosity had drawn them closer, could no longer stand by idly. With each scoop of dirt the puppy flung aside, the neighbor inched closer, compelled by a mix of concern and dread. What would they find? What lay hidden beneath the playful chaos of a puppy's digging? The garden, once a symbol of tranquility, morphed into a harbinger of secrets waiting to be uncovered. With trepidation, the neighbor leaned down, their heart pounding in their chest. The ground was disheveled, a chaotic landscape of overturned dirt and disturbed grass. As they peered into the hole the puppy had created, a wave of nausea washed over them. What they discovered sent chills down their spine, a moment that would forever alter the perception of their peaceful community. The innocent digging had unearthed something far more profound than anyone could have anticipated, transforming a playful afternoon into a harrowing revelation. What lay before the neighbor was not just the remnants of a forgotten time, but rather a connection to something darker, a reminder that even in the most serene environments, shadows lurk just beneath the surface. The puppy, blissfully unaware of the horror it had unveiled, continued its digging, as if it were merely playing a game while the world around it began to shatter. The once cheerful atmosphere turned somber as the implications of this discovery began to sink in. The neighbors stepped back, grappling with the weight of what they had stumbled upon. A mixture of disbelief and horror settled in their gut. How could something so innocent lead to such a terrifying revelation? The garden, a space meant for joy and laughter, had transformed into a sight of dread. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an ominous glow over the scene, the reality of the situation began to unfold. It was clear that this was no ordinary day in the neighborhood. The discovery would ripple through the community, sparking conversations, fears, and questions that would linger long after the sun had set. As the eerie atmosphere settled over the neighborhood, the implications of the puppy's digging began to resonate with everyone who had witnessed it. The once close-knit community was now a tapestry woven with threads of anxiety and speculation. Who could have buried something so unsettling? What could it mean for their idyllic lives? The innocent puppy, a mere catalyst for the unfolding drama, had unwittingly plunged its owners and neighbors into a whirlwind of uncertainty and fear that would test their bonds and force them to confront the shadows of their past. In the days that followed, whispers filled the streets as residents tried to make sense of the chilling discovery. The bond of trust that had long defined their neighborhood was shaken, replaced by hushed conversations and worried glances. As the story spread like wildfire, the community found themselves grappling with a new reality. The garden, once a symbol of peace and unity, now stood as a reminder of the darkness that could lie hidden just beneath the surface of their everyday lives. And as the puppy continued to dig, seemingly oblivious to the chaos it had unleashed, the neighborhood braced itself for the storm that was about to break. What had been a simple day in the life of a playful puppy had morphed into a gripping tale of mystery and fear, one that would test the very foundations of their community. Little did they know, the story was only just beginning, and the secrets unearthed that day would forever alter the fabric of their lives. As the whispers swirled like fallen leaves caught in the autumn breeze, the community found itself entangled in a web of speculation and unease. Each resident, from the elderly couple at the end of the street to the young family just starting out, began to share their own theories about the puppy's startling discovery. The once innocent thought of a puppy playing in the dirt had shifted into something much darker, as if the garden itself had become a portal to the unknown. Local children, who had once played games in that very garden, now hesitated at its edge, their imaginations ignited by tales spun from the murmurs of their parents. Some claimed it was a treasure buried long ago, perhaps remnants of a pirate's fortune or a cache of hidden gold. Others, however, felt a chill at the thought that perhaps what lay beneath was something more sinister, a relic of a past that should have remained buried, echoing a time when secrets were hidden not just in gardens, but in the hearts of the very people who lived around them. As the sun rose over the neighborhood the following morning, light streamed into homes dimmed by the shadows of uncertainty. The puppy's owner, a kind-hearted woman named Sarah, had awoken to find her normally joyful pet unusually restless. It was as if the little dog sensed the change in atmosphere, the tension that hung heavy in the air. Sarah, still unaware of the events that had transpired, called for the puppy, hoping to coax it away from the garden and into the warmth of her home. "Come on, buddy," she called, her voice bright and cheerful. "Let's go play fetch." But the puppy, deaf to her calls, continued to dig, its small paws working furiously as if driven by an instinct deeper than mere play. Meanwhile, the neighbor who had first stumbled upon the unsettling discovery, a man named Tom, paced outside his house, wrestling with the reality of what he had seen. His mind replayed the moment over and over. The way the ground had shifted beneath the puppy's paws and the gnawing feeling in his stomach as he had peered into the hole. What had he truly found? Was it something that could pose a danger to the community? With a determined resolve, Tom decided he could no longer remain passive. He would gather the neighbors and confront the mystery head-on. The community he loved was under threat, and they needed to come together, not only to uncover the truth, but to restore their sense of safety. With that thought in mind, he knocked on the doors of his closest neighbors, urging them to hold an impromptu meeting that evening to discuss the events that had unfolded. As the sun set once again, casting a golden hue over the neighborhood, a small crowd began to gather in Tom's backyard. The atmosphere was electric with tension. Faces were etched with concern, and the familiar laughter of children had been replaced by an uneasy silence. Sarah arrived, her puppy in tow, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing among the adults around her. "Thank you all for coming," Tom began, his voice steady despite the knot in his stomach. "I think we all know why we're here. We need to talk about what the puppy found in the garden." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, and Sarah's expression shifted from confusion to concern. "What did you find?" she asked, her brow furrowing as she looked down at her puppy, still digging with relentless enthusiasm. Tom took a deep breath, steeling himself for the reactions that would follow. When I approached the garden, I saw something that looked like remnants of something buried. It's hard to explain, but it felt wrong, unsettling. What do you mean by remnants? A neighbor interjected, a hint of fear creeping into her voice. Tom glanced towards the garden, now shrouded in twilight shadows. I don't know exactly. It was dark, and I think it might be old, maybe even decades old. The crowd fell silent, the weight of those words hanging heavily in the air. Some exchanged worried glances. Others held their breath, caught in the suspense of the unknown. What if it's something dangerous? One neighbor whispered, their eyes wide with fear. What if someone was hurt? That's exactly what I'm worried about, Tom replied, his voice low. We need to dig deeper, literally. We should find out what's down there before we let our imaginations run wild. Sarah, who had been quietly observing, felt a wave of protectiveness wash over her. This is my puppy's garden, she said, her voice firm. We can't just start digging without knowing what we're dealing with. It could be anything, and we don't want to put anyone at risk. While the group grappled with their rising anxiety, a neighbor named Lisa, known for her unwavering courage, stepped forward. We can't let fear dictate our actions, she said, her tone resolute. If there's something buried there, we have a right to know what it is. Let's form a small team, dig carefully, and see what we're dealing with. With the plan taking shape, the atmosphere slowly shifted from one of fear to a collective resolve. The group agreed to gather tools, flashlights, and their collective courage to confront the mystery that had disrupted their peaceful lives. The camaraderie began to resurface, binding them together in a shared purpose. As they prepared for the excavation, the puppy, still blissfully unaware of the gravity of the situation, continued its digging, seemingly undeterred by the concerns of the adults around it. In its innocent pursuit of something hidden, it had inadvertently united a community, prompting them to confront their fears and the shadows that had long lain dormant. As night fell and the moon rose high in the sky, the group gathered around the now infamous garden, armed with shovels and flashlights. Their hearts raced, a mix of excitement, fear, and determination swirling within them. What would they uncover? Would the remnants of the past reveal a story that had long been forgotten? Or would it lead them down a path shrouded in even darker mysteries? With each scoop of earth that was displaced, the tension grew, and the once charming garden transformed into a site of discovery, where the past and present collided. The night was thick with anticipation as they dug deeper, united by a common thread of curiosity and courage that would forever alter the course of their neighborhood. Little did they know, the secrets that lay buried just beneath the surface would challenge their perceptions of safety, trust, and the very fabric of their community. As the shovels pierced the earth, the sound echoed in the stillness of the night, a rhythmic reminder of the fear and anticipation that coursed through the group. Each member of the community took turns digging, their hands working together in a concerted effort to unveil whatever lay hidden within the depths of the garden. The puppy, still energetically pawing at the soil, seemed to sense the gravity of the moment, occasionally pausing to look up at its owner, as if seeking reassurance amid the swirling emotions of the adults. With each shovelful of dirt that was cast aside, the layers of soil revealed a tapestry of time, a blend of roots, stones, and remnants of what once was. The air grew heavier with anticipation, and the darkness wrapped around them like a shroud, amplifying their fears. What if they unearthed something that would shatter the calm of their lives? The questions hung in the air, unanswered, as they pressed on with determination. Suddenly, the sound of metal clinking against something hard broke through the tension. Tom, who had been digging with fervor, felt a jolt of adrenaline surge through him. "Wait, I think I found something," he called out, his voice cutting through the whispering night. The group quickly gathered around him, their flashlights illuminating the area where he had paused, their breaths held in anticipation. As Tom carefully brushed away the remaining dirt, the shape of an object began to emerge, a small, rusted box, its edges frayed and worn by time. The sight sent a collective gasp through the crowd, a mingling of exhilaration and dread. What secrets could this box hold? Was it a treasure, a keepsake, or something far more ominous? With trembling hands, Tom reached down to lift the box from its earthen grave, feeling the weight of its history in his palms. "This is it," he said, his voice a mixture of excitement and anxiety. The group leaned closer, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of their flashlights, eager to catch a glimpse of what had been hidden for so long. As Tom opened the lid, a cloud of dust puffed into the air, and the group recoiled slightly, a momentary instinctual response to the unknown. Inside, they discovered a collection of faded photographs, brittle and yellowed with age, alongside a small stack of letters tied with a fraying ribbon. The contents spoke of lives once lived, love letters filled with heartfelt words, and memories that had long since been forgotten. Who do you think these belong to? Sarah pondered aloud, her heart racing as she examined the photographs. Faces stared back at them, smiling in moments of joy, forever frozen in time. Each image told a story, and the mystery deepened with every letter they unfolded. It was as if they had stumbled upon a time capsule, a forgotten piece of history that beckoned to be remembered. But as they delved deeper into the letters, the tone shifted. The words began to reveal a narrative tinged with sadness and longing, a tale of lost love and betrayal, and whispers of secrets that had torn families apart. The letters hinted at a tragedy that had affected the lives of those who once called this neighborhood home, and the realization struck the group like a cold chill. Could it be that this garden was a site of sorrow? One neighbor whispered, their voice barely audible against the backdrop of the night. What if it holds more than just memories? What if it's a reminder of pain that we've long since forgotten? As more letters were read aloud, the atmosphere shifted again, this time towards a somber reflection. The puppy, sensing the change, paused its digging and nestled closer to Sarah, who wrapped her arms around it protectively. The innocence of the little creature juxtaposed starkly against the weight of the discovery, a reminder that life is often intertwined with both joy and sorrow. The group spent hours sifting through the contents of the box, their conversations weaving together the threads of the past with their present reality. They learned of a family who had once thrived in the neighborhood, whose laughter had filled the air before tragedy struck, leading to the poignant farewell captured in the letters. The garden, once a symbol of happiness, had become a final resting place for the memories of those lost, and the community began to understand that their peaceful lives were built upon a foundation of stories, some beautiful and some heartbreaking. As dawn approached, casting a soft light over the garden, the neighbors gathered together, now bonded by their shared experience. They understood that the secrets unearthed that night were not just remnants of the past, but an integral part of their identity as a community. The garden, once a site of dread, transformed into a space of reflection and remembrance. In the wake of their discovery, the residents made a collective decision. They would honor the memories of those who had come before them by creating a small memorial in the garden, a place where they could celebrate the lives, love, and lessons learned from the past. It would serve as a reminder that while darkness can lurk beneath the surface, the light of community, empathy, and understanding can shine brightly. As they began to gather supplies and plan for the memorial, the puppy, now weary from its long night of digging, rested peacefully at Sarah's feet. It had sparked a journey that would bring the community closer together, encouraging them to confront their fears, embrace their history, and ultimately find strength in unity. In the days that followed, the garden became a focal point for the neighborhood. Neighbors came together to plant flowers, share stories, and create a space that honored both joy and sorrow. The puppy, oblivious to its pivotal role, continued to dig and play, serving as a symbol of resilience and the unbreakable bonds that formed within the community. As the seasons changed, the memorial blossomed, a living testament to the power of connection and the importance of remembering those who had come before. The neighborhood, once tinged with fear and uncertainty, transformed into a vibrant tapestry of life, love, and shared history. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is hope, healing, and a community willing to stand together. If you like this type of news, make sure to comment from where you're hearing this, and also, if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe now. This is the best way to help our work and this type of news reach more people.